Welcome back to TechStrong TV. This is Lisa Martin coming to you live from the show floor at RSAC in San Francisco, when there's about 45,000 folks. This is TechStrong TV's 10th year of covering this massive event in cybersecurity. We're having great conversations yesterday, today, which you know, because you've been watching, with leading cybersecurity experts. Happy to see one of my old colleagues, Amit Sinha here, the CEO of DigiCert. It's so great to see you again.
Great to see you too, Lisa.
Yeah.
We talked about a year ago, and I'm excited to be back here.
I am too. I'm going to brag on you for a minute.
Okay.
I did some LinkedIn stalking. Author of 50 patents, 34 issued, 16 pending, 25 published journal and conference papers, 3 book chapters, 4 theses, dozens of white papers. How do you find the time to do all this and lead a company?
That was in the past. I had good mentors, good teammates, right?
Yeah.
And hey, it's the team that makes it happen, ultimately.
Absolutely. Being surrounded by a great team is everything. But you've been featured on CNBC, CNN. Here you are with us. What is going on at DigiCert? Give me kind of the rundown since we last spoke.
Well, since we last spoke, a lot has happened in the industry, Lisa.
Yes.
DigiCert, as you know, is a global leader in digital trust, and digital trust is foundational infrastructure that makes sure that all our digital interactions are secure, they are trustworthy, they are private, right? And this whole industry is going through a massive renaissance, right? Let me give you a few areas where this change is happening. Just 2 weeks ago, the Browser Forum passed a new mandate, which now requires digital certificates, which is kind of the underpinning of all this trust fabric. The validity of those certificates will go down from 398 days, just over a year, to now 47 days. It's like 8x reduction. So think about your passport. If it instead of a 5-year validity, if it was expiring every 47 days, I mean, that'd be crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now it's safe, because if someone stole it or if it was out in the wild, you don't have to worry about exposure. But what that means is the industry now needs fail-safe automation, right?
Yes.
Because all of the, think of all the websites, the apps, the software, the machines.
Only just proliferating.
Just exploding.
Right? Yes.
And we haven't even gone to AI agents, and we'll get there.
Yes.
With all of these non-human identities, using PKI, you need a system that can centrally govern it and provide fail-safe automation, right? So that's a huge change that's happening, and we're talking to many customers about how do I get command and control over millions of these cryptographic assets that might be within an organization, and they provide you secure communication or authenticated devices. So that's one huge change. And riding on top of that is this whole quantum thing, right? So the math that secures all the trust fabric is based on these classical algorithms that are now vulnerable to quantum computers. And we've known this for a while, but what has happened is, since we spoke, just earlier this year, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they're all coming up with their bigger, better, faster versions of their quantum chips.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a ChatGPT-like moment where one day we'll wake up and say, wow, these quantum computers are here, and all of our trust fabric based on these math problems that we deemed were secure is suddenly broken, right?
Wow.
So that's a huge, thing that's happening in the industry, where people are preparing for post-quantum cryptography. And those standards exist today. It's just work needs to happen to go through this upgrade cycle.
And how quickly, based on the acceleration. I mean, ChatGPT was born, a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, and it just catalyzed this revolution. I mean, AI is not a new concept. It's been around for a long time.
Exactly.
But once it was launched, every company had what's our AI story?
Yeah.
We have to have an AI story.
Yeah.
But the good guys have access to the tools. The bad actors have access to the tools. It's like fighting fire with fire.
Exactly.
How do you conceptually explain digital trust to customers, and what does that mean for them to be able to deliver the brand value that they expect, that they have to deliver?
Yeah. So, Lisa, digital trust, again, is foundational infrastructure, right? How do you know you're talking to the right bank website, not a fake one? How do I know that my app-to-app communication is secure and private? You sign digital documents. How do you know that the deed on that PDF doc you signed is going to be not tampered with and hold up in a court of law 10 years from now,
Right.
right? How do you know that the software update you got on your iPhone really came from Apple?
Right.
All of this is based on the same PKI, the same cryptography, right?
Yeah.
And so that's foundational infrastructure, and DigiCert, 90% of Fortune 500 use DigiCert to get to that trust fabric that I talk about.
As that fabric undergoes changes and upgrades, how do you keep up? I mean, the speed with which things are going is mind-boggling.
Exactly.
For organizations that might not have the digital trust fabric or the visibility to understand where are all of our vulnerabilities.
100%. And
how do you keep up with the changes to the fabric?
yeah, so again, step one, you need a system and you need automation, right?
Yeah.
So I talk to half a dozen customers every week.
Nice.
And these conversations are happening where, look, even going from 398 days to 47 days, right? Now you need fail-safe automation. What does that mean? That means, well, I need to be able to validate in an automatic way.
Yeah.
What do I need for validation? First, I need to be able to prove that I control this domain or this machine. So my DNS and my PKI need to work together, right? Otherwise, what's going to happen is that two things. You won't have automation, so you'll have humans in the loop, and then it'll lead to outages. It'll lead to exposure because you weren't able to update, the PKI on a particular machine because the person was away on vacation or something else happened. So you need these two core systems. I call that electricity and water on the internet. PKI and DNS to work together.
Yeah.
And what DigiCert One does is gives you a single platform to fully manage and automate these two foundational pieces of digital trust, right? So now imagine millions of machines, so many domains to manage. Your DNS team and PKI team no longer need to be in silos, and they get a central system where I can validate that, hey, this is Amazon.com. Yes, Amazon really controls it. Oh, it's 46 days. Let's go ahead and update the cert and repeat that for millions of private machines that you might have internally. So that's kind of a huge thing that's happening in the industry, and DigiCert's leading the way with lots and lots of our customers with that change in standards, and that actually prepares you for post-quantum cryptography as well.
Okay.
Because what is post-quantum? It's just new math. So think about, back to your passport example. Now there's a better passport, right? More tamper-proof.
Yeah.
But the underlying process hasn't changed, right? You still need to validate. You still
Correct.
need to manage and automate.
But the automation is critical.
That's the part that we are
Yes.
driving to. And DigiCert One now supports all the post-quantum standards that have been approved by NIST as of fall last year.
So you're already getting ahead of the curve
So
here.
we're already ahead of the curve, and we have many customers who are, leading the way. And we do a survey where we go through the grief cycles, right? Because this is once in a 30-year upgrade. And 2 years ago, when I used to talk about post-quantum cryptography, most people would say, hey, that's a problem out there.
Down the road.
And now, you have CISOs and CXOs saying, what's our quantum strategy? Are we prepared? Do we have an inventory of all our assets? Do we know what are our crown jewels and what do we need to upgrade first? So the conversation has gone from what's quantum to what can we do about it?
So getting proactive?
100%.
That's outstanding, because I always think in cybersecurity, are we always behind? Will we ever be able to be proactive with just how quickly things are transpiring and how the risk surface just continues to expand amorphously?
Yeah.
And we have more data, more software, more apps. That train isn't slowing down anytime soon.
It isn't. And look, when you start adding things like AI agents, right? I mean, customers are asking, well, you're helping us manage software and devices and machines. Now here's an AI agent. This is is it software? Is it a machine? Is it, how long will it last?
How
right?
will it be managed?
How will it be managed? So one of the foundational principles in security is to separate identity and authorization from the capabilities of the underlying software or agent, right?
Okay.
So think about it this way, Lisa. I mean, a year from now, I might have 6 agents working for me. Maybe I have a Zoom avatar that shows up, right? Maybe there's an agent approving expense reports or doing mundane things. But maybe I have an agent that's negotiating a contract, right? What do I need? I need a kill switch on the agent, right? I need an audit log of what are the things that it did, because ultimately it's acting on my behalf.
Right.
And so I need to be able to, first have a tamper-proof identity. I need to have a tamper-proof record of what it did.
Right.
And if I don't like something, I need a kill switch to be able to say, you're no longer authorized to do that, right? What's all that? That's back to, again, PKI, right? How do I authorize, we know how to authorize a machine. We know how to say this is authentic software. There are lifetimes associated with it where you can go and say, well, after 47 days, it's no longer valid, right? So we're bringing similar concepts now to AI agent trust, right? Where you can say, look, these agents are very powerful, but identity, access, authorization is in my control, right? Versus saying, this agent goes rogue and does whatever it wants.
Right. Well, the agentic AI explosion, just another example of this catalyst in every industry, in every vertical. I talk a lot with chief marketing officers, and everyone is embracing agentic AI. It's part of their KPIs as integrated marketing organizations. So we're just going to see that continue to explode. But being able to, you put the right word, get control over it. Is that a possibility? Because it's proliferating so fast.
Well, look, again, you need to combat AI with AI. We hear that theme over and over again.
Yes, we do.
But we need to learn from things in the past and be proactive and apply it, right? The examples I gave about separating identity and access from and being able to govern it in a way, right? Is very, very, very crucial.
It's not a nice to have anymore for organizations. Yeah, it's table stakes.
Yeah, and I kind of liked your proactive angle, right? We have customers who are very proactive. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I was with Zoom, and we work with Velkami, who's the president of Zoom, and his team, and it's a great example of a company and a customer that's very proactive about these things. So let me give you 3-4 simple examples. We talked about post-quantum cryptography. Zoom Workspace now supports end-to-end quantum-safe encryption. So they're already ahead of the curve, right? Zoom, when Zoom clients talk to Zoom servers, they use DigiCert PKI to kind of secure that communication. Now, other things too, like the industry is moving to 47-day certs. Zoom's already rotating these certs now on a 6-month basis, right? Their code signing certificates are being rotated on a monthly basis, and they're able to, do majority of their digital trust infrastructure on a fully automated basis, with integrations and platform support from DigiCert. So that's a great example of a customer who's being proactive, who's ahead of the curve, and that's what you need in the security industry today.
Absolutely, and like I said, it's not a nice to have anymore. It's essential. But so many organizations, I think, struggle, and you probably see this in all of your customer conversations. Where do we start? It's so overwhelming. But knowing that there is a way with DigiCert, for example, to enable organizations across industries, across verticals, to become proactive with something that's coming is enlightening. I'm so glad that you shared that story. Last question for you. I think I saw that DigiCert is on the track to reach $1 billion ARR.
That is true.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's next? What can we expect next from DigiCert?
Look, we just want to deliver awesome services and an awesome platform for our customers. I think in the next 4 years, PKI and digital trust is going to go through massive renaissance, right? With quantum, with the things that we talked about. You're right, many customers say, where do we start? And, I'm doing trust summits now. We've hit 3 cities. We're going to go to 4 more in the next month or so.
Excellent.
And we're just, going and helping customers start their PKI modernization journey, get prepared for quantum safety, figure out how do we bring digital trust in the real world with AI agents, right? Those are all things. So, we're very excited, and look, $1 billion is just a milestone.
That's
right?
a big milestone.
But it's not like the race finishes there, right?
No.
We just want to continue to grow and serve our customers.
And continue to be proactive.
100%.
Amit, it was so great to have you back on TechStrong TV. I always enjoy our conversations. But thank you for sharing what's going on with digital trust, why it's so foundational, how the fabric is changing, but how you're helping organizations actually get ahead of the curve. Really appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Lisa. I always enjoy our conversation.
Likewise. For Amit Sinha, I'm Lisa Martin. You're watching TechStrong TV live from day 2 of RSAC, coming to you from San Francisco. We'll be back with our next guest, so stick around.